Hi, today our video for you is 5 rookie mistakes of a first-time home buyer. Number 1, underestimating the cost. You want to avoid underestimating the cost of a home purchase by doing your homework. So whether this is your first home or you have bought and sold several homes, there are several things to take into account when you're purchasing a home. So the first thing is, how much can you afford? How much can you afford that payment to be? You want to have a home, but you don't want to be house poor either. You want to be able to take your family out to dinner, to go do vacations, things like that. So you want to make sure that that payment is something you can afford. And then the second thing is, how much money do you need for a down payment and closing costs? That's something that's really important to know. You'll need to know how much to expect for inspections or appraisal. And then a big thing is the cost of insurance. You'll want to check with insurance companies, find out how much it's going to be for you to get hazard insurance or flood insurance, if you even need flood insurance in that area. You also take into account if you're in a high hazard zone, if you're in an area where there's tornadoes or hurricanes or fires. I know we own a cabin, and every year since we've owned it, the insurance has gone up because of all the fires that have been happening in California. So you'll want to take those things into account. You want to check into what taxes are like in your area. The amount of taxes on a home could make a difference of $150 on your payment, or it could make a difference of $350, $400 on your payment, even sometimes $500 on your payment, just depending on where you're purchasing the home in. Number 2 mistake would be making a big purchase before you buy a home. Okay, this one is a big one, because when a lender is getting ready to loan you money on a home, they take a lot of things into consideration. So you need to know what they're going to look at. So they're going to look at your debt to income ratio, and that would be how much you have going out and how much you have coming in, because they want to know that responsibly you can make that house payment and still maintain your other debts. They're going to look at your credit score and analyze your credit. They're going to see how many lines of credit you have, how often you're using those lines of credit, how well you're paying your bills, and if they happen to see something, maybe you've gone and purchased something, but it hasn't showed up on your credit, but the inquiry will show up on your credit. So then they have to think, if there's an inquiry, what debt is going to be attached to that inquiry? So you just want to stay away from having any inquiries or any new purchases. Any large purchase can affect your debt to income ratio. I've seen a lot of people not be able to get into a house because they have big car payments, and sometimes they have to sell their car just to get into the house. It's a lot easier to get a car after you have a house than it is to get a house after you have a large car payment that affects your debt to income ratio in a negative way, because mortgage companies and car loan companies, they look at your debt to income ratio differently. So if you want to buy a new car, you just want to wait until after you close on your home. It's easier to get a car after a house than a house after a car. And you just want to make sure that you don't put yourself at risk and not be able to get into your house. Number 3 mistake would be going solo. Okay, you don't want to go through the buying purchase alone. I know some people try to do it, but you really want to have somebody who can guide you every step of the way. You need to hire a realtor. Find somebody you trust. Find somebody who has good reviews. Find someone that can walk you through this process. Okay, look at it this way. If you've never changed the oil in your car, you're not just going to go out there and start draining the oil pan. I don't even know where the oil pan is. You would find somebody, some expertise, someone who's done it 1,000 times, to help you out with it. Same thing with buying a home. You want to find a realtor who can guide you through the process. Number 4, expecting your dream home. You might want to set expectations for your first home. You may have to compromise some things to get others. Like, for instance, say you want a new home that nobody's ever lived in, but you also have 2 dogs that need a fenced and landscape back. So most new homes don't have a backyard fenced or back landscaping even. So you might have to say, okay, I want the new home bad enough that I'm willing to take the house without a fenced yard. Or maybe you decide, I need a yard. I don't have the 10 to 20,000 to put into a yard and a fence. So maybe we go find a newish home that already has the fence and the landscaping already done. And sometimes you have to sacrifice things because of the price range. Like, maybe you can't afford a house that has a 3-car garage, but that's what you wanted. Maybe you can only afford a 2-car or maybe even a carport. And so you just want to take those things into account. And remember, this doesn't have to be your last house purchase. Most people don't stay in the very first house that they buy. So that it's kind of a stepping stone to those next homes that they're going to buy. But maybe this is your dream home. Maybe this is the last house that you're going to buy. I've had people tell me that no matter how many homes they've owned or how many homes they've built, there was always some things they wanted to change. So that's probably going to be the case. Like, there's always going to be something you would like different. So there really is just never the perfect home. We just get you as close as we can to that perfect home. Number 5 mistake would be skipping the home inspection. I always recommend getting a detailed home inspection from someone you trust, or someone your realtor trusts, or someone you've researched and has really good reviews, because you want to know what might be in that house that you can't see on the surface that might affect either you wanting to purchase the house, or it would cause too many expenses when you move in, or maybe it's things that you don't care about, but at least you know you're going into the purchase with your eyes wide open. Now, some of these inspection items can be remedied by the seller, or they could be something that you're willing to take on and remedy yourself. But some things might be big, like what if they find meth, or what if they find termites? Those things you want to know ahead of time so we can figure out how to deal with them, either with the seller, or maybe it's a make or break thing and you want to walk away from the deal. And you also have to be reasonable too, because when you go into a home, especially if you're buying a home that somebody has lived in before, it's not going to be perfect. There's never, ever, ever the perfect scenario. There's not the perfect home. There's not, it's lived in. There's going to be nicks and dings and things that maybe didn't get taken care of because families are too busy. So you just want to make sure that you are aware of those items and that you're willing to take some of those things on, because that's part of home ownership, is maintaining your home. Okay, there you go. Hopefully these tips shed some light on your home buying process and some mistakes to avoid. And to recap, number 1, don't underestimate the costs. Number 2, don't make any big purchases beforehand. Number 3, don't go solo. Make sure you hire a realtor. Number 4, don't expect perfection or your dream home on the first time out. And definitely don't skip the home inspection. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you'll join us for another one. Have a great day.